What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my full card breakdown and predictions for UFC Vegas 12, Uriah Hall versus Anderson Silva. It's going to be Anderson Silva's last fight. He is retiring, he said, after this fight. And, 45 years old, a legend in the game. I'm really looking forward to this fight and really looking forward to this card as a whole. Plenty of opportunities to make money here and plenty of good fights as well. Before we get started and get into the video, if you guys can leave a like, subscribe if you have not yet, would appreciate that a ton. Working my way up to 8,000 subs, would love to get there in the near future. I do have a couple announcements. First one, I did that contest last week. Shout out to Moose Matthews. He commented down 55 significant strikes, got it right on the dot. That's the first time that's ever happened. So shout out to you, Moose Matthews. If you can get me your, either PayPal, Cash App, anything like that, give me your information. I'll get you your winnings there. I will be doing more contests next month for UFC 255 there. But yeah, pretty crazy there. 55 on the dot. Next, I do want to do a little recap because I had a crazy night on Saturday, or you could say a crazy day / afternoon on Saturday. One of my better weeks of the year. I went 11-0-1 on predictions. Killed the betting. Had my second most profitable week of the whole year. I had, I just want to go over a couple of bets here. Shavkat Rakhmonov, I got him at plus 135. He closed at like minus 135, so really like that line I got. I had a parlay with Khabib and Maverick. Shout out to both of them. Maverick looked fantastic. Khabib looked great as well. Other than that, I had another parlay with Alexander Volkov and Da Un Jung, which was a push there on the Jung side. Really controversial. Even though I had a bet on Da Un Jung, I did think Sam Alvey got that fight won. I thought he won round 1 and round 2 pretty clearly. Don't necessarily agree with the 10-8, but I was glad it was a push regardless. Other than that, I had Phil Hawes inside the distance, minus 110. I really like that line. I mean, he's someone who goes out there and finishes the fight early, and that's just what he did. So that was a really good line there. I had Alexander Volkov and Walt Harris under 2.5 rounds, minus 130. Hit that one as well. I also had Taito Ivasa wins in round 1, which was awesome because he won in like the last second. So I was going crazy. Very, very exciting. Winning that bet, it was like a buzzer beater last second there from Tuivasa. And the two bets I lost on, this was me being a little bit greedy here. I had Lauren Murphy wins by KO. All of her finishes were by KO. She's never had a sub. And she went out there and submitted Cachoeira. So I probably should have went inside the distance. But, if I would have hit that, it would have been an insane night. And then I also had a little hedge on Gaethje wins by KO. Just seeing Khabib on the scale just worried me a little bit, but a little hedge nonetheless. So a profitable week, plus 5.8 units on the night. So one of the better weeks of the year for me. And also did hit a Hail Mary parlay. I put it out on Twitter. It was I believe it was a 7-leg parlay. Had Miranda Maverick, Ankalaev, Hawes Malkoon. Fight doesn't go to decision. Lauren Murphy, Volkov, Casey Kenny, and Da Un Jung, which was a push. So I turned into like a 6-leg. So not a bad night whatsoever. Hopefully continuing the success into this night. I have a lot of bets already. If you do want to sign up and see my bets early, I am on Patreon. You can sign up at the link below in the description there. I have about 200 people almost, so it would be cool to hit that 200 person mark. I have a lot of guys in the Discord. I have my model with all the stats. Every time I post a bet, I get it out there. I try to beat some lines. Have even beat some lines already this week, so which is pretty cool there. And then I do a betting breakdown video and also an article later in the week. So all my betting content's always going to be free, but a lot of people ask me how they can donate. That's one way, and you're also getting something out of it. So enough of that. Let's get into this card. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And we are going to start with the first fight of the night. And that is Miles Johns versus Kevin Natividad. Very excited to break down this fight. It's going to be a good first fight of the night. And Miles Johns, he is 26 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach, 10-1, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Kevin Natividad, 27 years old, 5'6", 70-inch reach, 9-1 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the lines here. Kevin Natividad is plus 140. He opened up at plus 170, so some money is coming in on him. Miles Johns is minus 160. He actually opened up minus 215, so the line is coming down, and rightfully so. I don't really agree with that line at all. I think this is going to be a lot closer, and I'm not that impressed with Miles Johns. I did pick him to win his last fight against Mario Batista. I thought he'd have a decent advantage with his wrestling, and I was kind of like yelling at the TV, like, what are you doing? Why aren't you going for takedowns? Against Batista, he just wanted to strike with him, ended up getting knocked out. And I really thought he was going to use his wrestling in that. And this is a fight he probably should use his wrestling in. And when I went into tape, what I looked for Natividad is, how was this guy's takedown defense? How was his get-up game? And I didn't see him take down much at all. I mean, his defensive wrestling looked really good. He looked like he knew what he was doing when he was trying to get taken down. Also, his get-up game is very good as well. I saw him get up from a takedown and jump right on the back of his opponent. I mean, he looks legit. And what it's going to come down to for me is, Miles Johns, if he does attempt those takedowns and get stuff, it's only going to get him tired. And that's something you see from Johns. He does slow down as the fight goes on. Kevin Natividad doesn't. I think Kevin Natividad honestly is the better striker, the more technical striker, way more output. Miles Johns is very low output as well. And sure, Miles Johns can come on here, maybe get takedowns, win a close decision, but I do think this is going to play out on the feet for a long amount of time in this fight. And I do got to favor Natividad here, so I think the line is off. I'm going to go with Natividad. I think this fight should honestly be closer to a pick'em. And the line is closing down that way, but give me Kevin Natividad to win a very close decision here. Could he knock out Johns? Maybe. I think he probably could. But I'm going to say Kevin Natividad gets it done by decision. First underdog pick of the night. And you'll notice there aren't many underdogs on this card whatsoever. Lots of big favorites. Lots of very big favorites that all should win. So it's really hard to find these underdog spots. I think Kevin Natividad's not a bad choice there. All right, next, getting into an exciting fight here, the people's main event, Courtney Casey versus Priscilla Cachoeira. It's gonna be a good one. I mean, a lot of Priscilla Cachoeira's fightings are very, very entertaining, and she's 32 years old, 5'7", 65-inch reach, 9-3, 2-3 in her last 5 fights. She had that beautiful knockout on Shanna Dobson, and a lot of people were on Dobson in that fight. I actually had a bet on Cachoeira at dog money. Now, I wasn't expecting her to go out there and get a knockout, but she went out there and got a knockout in the first minute, which was surprising, but it was awesome because I did make some money on that. Courtney Casey, she is 33 years old, 5'7", 67-inch reach, 9-8, 2-3 in her last 5 fights. Another fighter that made me money because I did have Jillian Robertson to get it done against her in her last fight. She got dominated from start to finish, got submitted in that 3rd round there. But taking a look at the odds here, and I mean, kind of surprising. Casey did open up minus 260. She was down to minus 230 at one point. She's now at minus 240. Priscilla Cachoeira, she is plus 200 right now. And I mean, I think that could be a little bit wider. I think Casey is the much better fighter here. Casey does land 4.4 significant strikes per minute. She has a 38% accuracy, absorbs 4.31 with a 53% striking defense. And Priscilla Cachoeira, I mean, 3.84 significant strikes averaged landed per minute, 37% accuracy. She absorbs 7.98 significant strikes per minute with a 42% striking defense. She's someone who plays defense with her face. She has no defense at all. They call her the zombie girl for a reason. She just marches forward. She eats punches, and I don't think there's going to be much grappling in this fight, but Casey, if she takes us to the mat, she's going to have a very big advantage. And you can kind of see in some of her fights, she either gets taken down or maybe she pulls guard, and she's able to get these submissions from bottom. And Casey does average 0.31 takedowns per 50 minutes, 30% accuracy. I think it'd be smart to go in here and get a takedown. For Casey to come out here and get a takedown, I think she could probably get a submission. Priscilla Cachoeira was almost submitted by Luana Carolina. She got in a lot of bad spots. I think if Casey and Cachoeira touch the ground, I think Casey's going to get a submission here. So actually, I like Casey to get it done inside the distance here. I think if she wants to stand and strike with someone like Priscilla Cachoeira, she can. I think she's more technical. I think she has better defense. Her output's good as well. But I think if she gets us to the mat, whether she does pull guard or whether she does go for a takedown, I think she's going to get a submission. So I'm going to go Courtney Casey here by submission. And a lot of people like to crap on Courtney Casey's record. I mean, look at some of the fighters she's been fighting. Jillian Robertson, Cynthia Calvillo, Michelle Watterson, Claudia Delia, Joanne Calderwood. So it's really hard to crap on her record when she's fighting some legit competition there. So Priscilla Cachoeira, I think she's going to lose here, probably inside the distance. Casey has finished, I believe, she's finished 77% of her wins by finish here, 44% by submission. I think she is live for that finish there. So I think inside the distance is plus 315, plus 320 right now. I don't think that's a bad bet. Give me Casey here, and pretty confident in that. I know it's women's MMA, but I think she's the much better fighter. All right, getting into the next fight here. Dustin Jacoby versus Justin Ledet should be a pretty exciting fight here. Dustin Jacoby, he has been in the UFC before, making his return. I think he fought in like 2011, 2012. But Jacoby is 32 years old, 6'4", 78-inch reach, 12-5, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Justin Ledet, 32 years old, 6'4", 80-inch reach, 2-inch reach advantage there for Ledet. 9-3 and 2-3 in his last 5 fights. So we will take a look at the odds here. Jacoby is a really big favorite. It opened up minus 240 all the way down to minus 330. Ledet is plus 270, opened up at plus 180. So a lot of money coming in on Jacoby, and I can definitely see why. I think he is the better fighter here by a decent margin. He has that kickboxing background. I think he's the better striker, much more output. Ledet, he's very, very low output as well. I do think Jacoby could, possibly get him out of there. Ledet has a good chin, although he did get knocked out. It was against Johnny Walker. It's like a spinning back fist in like the first 20 seconds of the fight, which was awesome. But don't know if Jacoby could finish him. I remember watching Jacoby on the Contender Series, his last fight, and he destroyed the dude. He landed 120 significant strikes, something like that. The fight could have been stopped, honestly, 5 different times, but he kind of gassed out towards that 3rd round. If he gasses out versus Ledet, it could be some trouble for him there. And also, if Ledet takes us to the mat, which I don't know if he could, I think he could have an advantage there. Ledet actually has a pretty solid submission game. He's finished 56% of his fights by submission. I just don't know if he has the wrestling to really get it down to the mat. But I'm going to take Jacoby here to win a decision. I don't think a finish is completely crazy as well, but I'm going to take a decision here. I think Ledet's a tough guy. But as for the line here, minus 330, I think there's better parlay options. I wouldn't parlay Jacoby. I think this could be a little bit closer than the line indicates, but I do like Jacoby to get it done by decision. All right, next we got a really fun fight here. Jason Witt versus Cole Williams. Witt, he is 33 years old, 5'10", 70-inch reach, 17-6 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Cole Williams, he is 36 years old, 6 foot, 73-inch reach, is going to have a 3-inch reach advantage, 11-2 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. So kind of a weird fight here, but it should honestly be kind of exciting, or it could be really ugly here. And 2 guys that honestly, I really don't know why these guys are in the UFC. Even Cole Williams, he had that debut a couple years ago against Claudio Silva. He looked really bad. I mean, his takedown defense looks awful. Silva was able to take him down very easily, submit him very easily as well. I know it's Claudio Silva, but he just made it look very, very easy. I think he got a neck crank or something like that on him. And, watching tape on Jason Witt, I actually think he's a pretty talented fighter. He's a veteran, over 20 fights, MMA experience there. And, what I like about him is he has really good takedowns, really good wrestling. He's good at taking the back, good submissions as well. And I think this is a good matchup for him. The only problem for me, and it is a red flag we do have to discuss, and Witt has been knocked out 4 times. This guy is very, very chinny. And Williams, he does hit hard, it looks like. He's not much of a finisher. Only 36% of Williams' wins by knockout. But he does throw these big, untechnical strikes. If one of those lands on Witt, maybe he can knock out Witt. But other than that, I like Witt to get it done here, and I'm fairly confident in that. But the durability issues is kind of what's scaring me a little bit. But if Witt comes in here with a good game plan of getting takedowns, grinding out Cole Williams, I think he can come in here and get a submission. I think Witt has the better cardio. I saw him on Instagram. He's looking in great shape. And, I'm not all that impressed with Williams. I don't think he should be in the UFC. Yeah, give me Jason Witt here. I'm going to take Jason Witt to win by 2nd round submission there. And we'll take a look at the odds. Jason Witt actually surprisingly opened up. I think he opened up an underdog. He's minus 140 now. Cole Williams is plus 120. So it looks like there has been some movement. Witt went from minus 110. He's minus 140 now. So there is movement coming in on Witt. I like Witt here. I think outside of Cole Williams knocking him out, he gets it done. Maybe look at the fight doesn't go to decision prop on this fight. It is plus 150, something like that, because in both guys' losses, they've never lost by decision. And I could see Jason Witt getting a a late finish here, or even Williams getting an early knockout. So that's something I'm looking at as well. But give me Jason Witt to get it done here. All right. Sean Strickland versus Jack Marshman here. Sean Strickland, 29 years old, 6'1", 76-inch reach, 20-3, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Jack Marshman, 30 years old, 6 foot, 73-inch reach. Strickland's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. 23-9, 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Take a look at the odds here. Strickland is a big favorite, minus 335, opened up minus 250, so a lot of money is coming in on Strickland. Marshman opened up plus 190, now is plus 275 here. So I definitely agree with that line movement. Strickland is someone who's going to throw way more output. He lands 4.34 significant strikes per minute, absorbs only 3.62. Marshman is someone who absorbs more than he gives out. He absorbs 3.54. He only lands 2.64 per minute with only a 28% striking accuracy. As for the grappling stats, Strickland does land 1.37 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 57% takedown accuracy. I think it'd be really smart to go out here with a wrestling-heavy game plan because I do think that's an easy path to victory. That would be the path to least resistance here, in my opinion. And Jack Marshman, no takedowns landed in the UFC, but he does have a 20% takedown defense. So I think if Strickland wants to take him down, I really do think he can. And Strickland has finished 65% of his wins. Marshman has finished 79% of his wins. He is a finisher there, and Strickland has been knocked out once. But as far as the fight goes, I like Strickland to get it done. I think he's the much more technical striker. I think he's a way better striker. I think he has multiple paths to victory. I think he can win on the feet. I think if he wants to take it down on the mat, I think he can possibly find a submission on Marshman as well. Marshman's path to victory is just landing a big shot. And outside of that, I don't see him, getting getting the win here. Strickland did come off of a motorcycle accident. It's like 2 years ago. So he is coming off of a long layoff. But, taking a look at Strickland's Instagram, he looks like he's in very, very good shape. So I'm not overly concerned. I think this is a good matchup for Strickland. I think he gets it done. I'm going to say by decision. I think it should be a pretty, like a 30-27, maybe 30-26 decision. I don't think Marshman's going to win a round, but if Marshman does win, it's going to be by some type of knockout. I don't think that's all likely here. So give me Sean Strickland. Not an awful parlay piece. I'm not parlaying him myself, but I wouldn't hate a parlay piece with Strickland there. Next, I'm really, really looking forward to this fight. Adrian Yanez versus Victor Rodriguez. Yanez is 26 years old, 5'7", 70.5-inch reach, 11-3, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Victor Rodriguez, he is 28 years old, 5'5", 7-2, and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. And the first thing I did in this fight was watch Victor Rodriguez's tape, and he has fought like absolutely nobody. I mean, it is like not UFC caliber fighters at all that he's fighting, not even really MMA caliber, like professional MMA caliber fighters. He's fighting on that Alaska fight scene there, and just some of the fights I was watching, like there was a fight like 2 years ago. It was like a one-day tournament. It had like WWE stuff, wrestling. It had like boxing, and it had UFC towards the end. It was just weird. It was like in like a backyard, and like that's a professional fight there. And he looked good, but like the guy he was facing was not great at all. And as for like Victor Rodriguez in general, like his wrestling is okay. He gets on top, lands some good ground and pound, but he's not technical at all. He throws these big looping punches. He has power. I mean, he's finished all his strikes, but I think Yanez is like the much better fighter, and it's not even close. Yanez is very technical. He picks his shots very well. He's very accurate with his shots, and when he lands very hard. He has really good cardio. His takedown defense is really solid, and I'll be honest, like Yanez is probably my most confident pick on the card. I do have him in a parlay. I'm looking at him inside the distance as well. Have not bet that yet, but I like Yanez to get it done probably in the first couple rounds. I just think there's a huge gap of skill. I think they're bringing in Victor Rodriguez to get Yanez a win, to get Yanez a highlight knockout win here, and give me Yanez to get it done. So taking a look at the odds here, and Yanez is minus 360, opened up minus 305. Victor Rodriguez is plus 220. Plus 300, opened up plus 225. I could even argue that line should be wider. I still think there's value on Yanez. I believe I parlayed him at like, I want to say like minus 330, something like that. But I do like him to get it done. Give me a first round knockout for Adrian Yanez here. All right, next we have Alexander Hernandez versus Chris Grutzmacher. Hernandez, 28 years old, 5'9", 72-inch reach, 11-3 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Grutzmacher, he is 34 years old, 5'8", 68-inch reach, going to have a 4-inch reach disadvantage, 14-3 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. So we'll take a look at the odds here. I think Hernandez is the biggest favorite on the card. Yep. Opened up minus 245, now is at minus 380. And Chris Grutzmacher is plus 315. So, yeah, Hernandez is the biggest favorite on the card, and rightfully so. I think this is a really good matchup for him. Grutzmacher is someone who throws a ton, lands 7.12 significant strikes per minute. Hernandez lands only 3.20, but I think where this fight's going to be won and lost is going to be on the mat. Hernandez does land 2.15 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 38% accuracy. And Grutzmacher does have a 62% takedown defense. I think he was taken down in like 3 out of his 4 UFC fights. He's taken down by Ramos like 5 times, which is, I think Hernandez has the wrestling to get it done. I think in the striking, I think Hernandez is the better striker. I think he's the more technical striker. I think he has some solid power there as well. And I think just taking down Grutzmacher, grinding him out, getting him tired, and just winning a decision. I think it's a pretty clear Alexander Hernandez pick. Grutzmacher coming back from a 2-year layoff. Not all that impressed with what I've seen. He had a really good performance against Joe Lozon his last fight, which was like 2 years ago. But he did put on a good performance there. And, Lozon was kind of, towards the end of his career, he did, kind of retire. Not retire, but he had a retirement after that first round. Kind of quit there. But give me Alexander Hernandez to win by decision here. Could he get a finish? Maybe. Grutzmacher has been submitted twice. I think he could possibly get a submission here, but I'm going to take Alexander Hernandez to grind out a pretty easy decision here. I like this matchup for him. It's a big step down in competition from his last fight in Drew Dober, but give me Alexander Hernandez here. All right, Bobby Greene versus Thiago Moises. Bobby Greene, he is 34 years old, 5'10", 71-inch reach, 27-10, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Thiago Moises, he is 25 years old, 5'9", 70.5-inch reach, 13-4 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. All right, pretty simple fight here. The striker versus grappler. Bobby Greene is minus 300, opened up minus 260. Lots of money's coming in on him. Thiago Moises is plus 250, opened up plus 200. Yeah, so I think this is Bobby Greene's fight to lose here. I think if he keeps us on the feet, he's going to have an absolute field day on the feet here. But if he, in his last fight against Alan Patrick, I think Patrick was a black belt, and I wasn't expecting him to, but he took down Patrick like 5 or 6 times, was picking him up, slamming him, messing around on the mat with Patrick. So I guess he's confident in his ground game. I don't really suggest that he does that here with Moises, because although Patrick is a black belt, I do think Moises is way better on the mat than Alan Patrick at this point in his career. And, Moises is still young, 25 years old, still improving. It's just on the feet, he doesn't have anything for Greene here. I think Greene is a much better striker. And, as for Moises' wrestling, I don't think it's all that there. He does average about a takedown per 15 minutes, only a 28% accuracy. And Greene does have a really good takedown defense, really good get-up game. Although Greene has been taken down in 6 of his last 7 UFC fights. Something to think about here, but as long as Greene fights smart, as long as Greene doesn't come out here trying to take down Moises for some reason, as long as he stuffs the takedowns, keeps us on the feet, he's going to win a decision here. So give me Greene to win by decision. I think decision is like minus 130, something like that. I think there's some value on there because I don't think Greene has a finish since like 2012. So that might be a problem looking at later in the week. I do like Greene to get it done. I think it's a good matchup for him. Stuff the takedowns, keep it on the feet, stay safe. We should get it done there. So give me Bobby Greene by decision. All right, next we have Greg Hardy versus Maurice Greene. Hardy is 32 years old, 6'5", 80.5-inch reach, going to be at about an 1.5 inch reach disadvantage here. 6-2 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Maurice Greene, 34 years old, 6'7", 82-inch reach. 9-4 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. So, yeah, I like Greg Hardy here. He is minus 325. And Maurice Greene is plus 265. So yeah, Hardy's a pretty big favorite here. I don't know if he should be that big of a favorite, but I do like him to win this fight. I think he's the much better striker here. Greene's striking is okay. I think he comes from like a kickboxing background. It looks like pretty good kicks, but when he strikes, he leaves his head right on the center line. He's there to be countered hard, and I'm not all that impressed with Greene at all. He's a submission guy as well. I mean, he's submitted half of his wins, and he doesn't have the wrestling to really back that up. I don't think he even has a takedown. I don't think he doesn't have a takedown in the UFC, so I don't really see him taking down Greg Hardy. But the only thing that impressed me about Greene was those kicks there, but he does leave a lot of openings. I was looking in the tape to see if, Greene kind of pushes the action, because I was thinking Hardy could kind of stay on the outside here and just win a decision, like he did in the Ben Sassoli fight, like he did in his last fight as well. But I kind of think Greene might push the pace here, leaving himself to maybe get knocked out by Greg Hardy. So I was looking at Hardy by decision. It was like plus 330, something like that. But with the smaller cage, I kind of think Hardy's going to knock him out here, just with Greene leaving so many openings. And he's kind of chinny. I mean, he got knocked down by Jean Vellante, got dominated in that third round, I believe, and then ended up just throwing up a Hail Mary submission. I don't know what the submission was called. It was very weird. I don't even think anything was locked in, but you just saw Jean Vellante tap. I think Hardy is the better fighter here. I mean, Greene is a little bit more experienced, but I'm going to take the more athletic fighter. I think the one that I think is the more powerful fighter as well. Maurice Greene's not really a knockout guy. Doesn't have much power for a heavyweight. I know he knocked out Junior Albini, but that's Junior Albini there. So give me Greg Hardy to win by, I'm going to say he's going to win by, give me a second round knockout for Greg Hardy here. Should be an interesting fight. I think it could be kind of exciting, or it could be one of those sloppy, boring heavyweight fights, but I think the smaller cage should help push that action a little bit. All right, getting into the next fight in here, and this is a fight I'm really looking forward to. That is Kevin Holland versus Mahmoud Muradov. Kevin Holland, he is 27 years old, 6'3", 81-inch reach, 19-5 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Muradov, he is 30 years old, 6'2", 75.5-inch reach, 24-6 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. So taking a look at the line here, kind of surprised in a way. Holland is minus 155, minus 140, opened up minus 155, and Muradov is plus 120. So people really like Kevin Holland. People are really high on this guy. Kind of expected him to be a little bit wider of a favorite, and this is a close fight. I think Muradov is a really popular underdog pick this week. Muradov is like on a big win streak. I think it's like 13 or 14 fight win streak as well. And what it's going to come down to for me, I think they're going to be striking most of the time. I don't know if Holland has the wrestling to really take this down. I think he should try, but it's not something you really see him to do. And he's a black belt in BJJ. If this does hit the mat, I think he'll have a pretty big advantage. Muradov does have 2 submission losses. I know they were a long time ago, but 2 submission losses nonetheless. I don't really see Muradov coming out here and trying to take down Holland. I wouldn't really recommend it, but so with it being striking, I think it could be fairly close. A lot of Holland's fights are also very close, and I don't know. I think the reach of Holland and the length is going to give Muradov some problems. Holland's going to have about looks like a 5.5 or 6.5 inch reach advantage here on Muradov, and like he does in a lot of his fights. I do think Holland is the more technical striker by a decent margin, and I know a lot of people crap on Holland's cardio, but I think he might have the better cardio in this matchup, but both cardios of both guys are kind of questionable here. I'm going to take Kevin Holland to edge out a very close decision. I don't know if I want to bet it. Maybe there is some value on Muradov. I do think this could honestly go either way, but I'm going to take the guy that has the reach advantage, the length, and also the experience as well. That UFC experience. He's fought the way better competition, and it's really not even close. But this should be a really good fight. I'm really looking forward to it, but I'm going to take Kevin Holland to edge out a very close decision. Could there be a finish in this fight? I think there could be, but I think if there's a finish, it's going to be Kevin Holland getting the knockout or maybe even a submission. Kevin Holland, what he's famous for is that chin. He's never been knocked out in like 24, 25 fights. Very good chin. Very good chin there. So I think it's going to go to decision more than likely, but I'm going to take Kevin Holland here. Am I going to bet it? It's really hard to bet on Kevin Holland, especially when he's usually a big favorite. But now that he's minus 140, I might take a look at it. I want to see weigh-ins and all that, but Kevin Holland should get it done here. All right, co-main event, and this is like the actual people's main event. I'm really looking forward to this fight. I see people with strong opinions on either side, and it's really is a tough fight to call. Bryce Mitchell, he's 26 years old, 5'10", 70-inch reach, 13-0, 5-0 in his last 5 fights, and my bad. And Bryce Mitchell, he did have that loss on the Ultimate Fighter there. Andre Fili, he is 30 years old, 5'11", 74-inch reach, 21-7 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. So just want to get into the numbers a little bit here. I know this is a striker versus grappler matchup, but Fili lands about 4 significant strikes per minute with a 36% accuracy, absorbs 3.97 with a 53% striking defense. Bryce Mitchell lands 2.05 significant strikes per minute with a 59% striking accuracy. He does absorb 1.36 significant strikes per minute with a 58% striking defense. As for the grappling stats go, Andre Fili does average 2.71 takedowns per 15 minutes. I noticed that in his tape. Like, he's a really good wrestler. His defensive wrestling is really solid as well. And he does have a 49% takedown accuracy. And Bryce Mitchell has a 33% takedown defense. So can Fili come out here and take down Bryce Mitchell? Absolutely. I think he can. But Bryce Mitchell does average 2.13 takedowns per 50 minutes with a 41% takedown accuracy. It's a tough fight to call. I think on the feet, it is Andre Fili all day. And honestly, I think that Fili can stuff the takedowns of Bryce Mitchell. I'm not overly impressed with Mitchell's wrestling at all. And I was actually really impressed with Andre Fili's takedown defense, his defensive wrestling. I know he has a 69% takedown defense, but he's pretty good at stuffing takedowns. And I don't know, in Fili's interview, he was talking about like going to the mat and testing his ground game versus Bryce Mitchell. I don't think that's a good idea here. Bryce Mitchell is someone who's an absolute wizard on the ground. If this fight does touch the mat at any point, I'll be really concerned for Andre Fili. But I mean, this just seems like a kind of a good matchup for Fili here. I mean, it stuff those takedowns, keep it on the feet, and when it's on the feet, it really is Fili all day. I'm going to lean on the Fili side. I'm going to pick the underdog here, and we'll take a look at the odds here. Andre Fili, he is plus 125, and Bryce Mitchell is minus 145. Honestly, kind of shocked that Bryce Mitchell is the favorite here. But yeah, if Fili fights smart, I think he can get it done. But if Fili comes out here and goes for takedowns himself, which I think he could get, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. If Bryce Mitchell gets him down, and if Bryce Mitchell's on top, Bryce Mitchell probably takes the round from there. But I'm going to take a shot on the underdog here with Andre Fili. I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for this pick because people love the hype of Bryce Mitchell, and I like it as well. I mean, I'm a decent Bryce Mitchell fan. I like the guy, but I'm going to take Fili to get it done. I think this is a huge step up in competition for Bryce Mitchell, going from Charles Rosa, Matt Sales to Andre Fili. Yeah, give me Andre Fili here to get it done. I'm going to say by a decision, but I do think he could also get a knockout here. All right, now it is time for the main event, and we have Uriah Hall versus Anderson Silva. Uriah Hall, he is 36 years old, 6 foot, 79.5-inch reach, 15-9, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Anderson Silva, he is 45 years old, 6 foot 2, 77.5-inch reach, 34-10 and 1-4 in his last 5 fights. And Uriah Hall, he's the much younger guy here. I'm honestly shocked Anderson Silva is still fighting at 45 years old. Silva, as of late, has been very, very low output. He hasn't had a finish since like 2013, 2012, something like that. It's been a while. I do think Hall is the better fighter at this point in their career. Obviously, Anderson Silva, legend in the game. Amazing run he had, but for the past couple of years, it's not been looking all that great. He has been knocked out 3 times. 2 of those have been due to leg injuries. We saw the last one with Jared Cannonier. And I think if Hall wanted to, come out here right away and touch those legs up. And what it's going to come down to for me, I think this could play out close. I guess it's just all up to how does Hall approach this fight. Is he going to come out there and is he going to be starstruck and try to, just mess around in there with Anderson Silva like a guy like Israel Adesanya did? Or is he going to go out there and try to finish the fight at that point? I do think he could, especially going to the legs early on. Hard to see Anderson Silva lasting 25 minutes in the fight. But I do like all here. I'm pretty confident in it. I'd honestly be shocked if Anderson Silva won here. 45 years old, definitely. He's going to retire after this fight as well. Give me Uriah Hall here to win by, I'm going to say, a 4th round knockout. I think he's going to go with those legs early. Get him out of there a little bit late there. But a decision wouldn't surprise me as well. Especially if he has, respect for Silva like a lot of these guys do. Go in there kind of cautious a little bit. I think he could win a decision as well. But give me Uriah Hall. Just want to recap on my picks. Uriah Hall, Andre Fili, Kevin Holland, Greg Hardy, Bobby Greene, Alexander Hernandez, Andre Yanez, Sean Strickland, Jason Witt, Dustin Jacoby, Courtney Casey, and Kevin Natividad. So yeah, not many underdogs. I had I believe 2 or 3 picked, and yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the support. If you guys can leave a like, subscribe if you have not yet, would really appreciate that. And yeah, check out the Patreon. Almost 200 members on there. Come check out the Discord as well. That's in the Patreon. A lot of members in there. Lots of great guys. We talk fights on Saturdays. I try to throw stuff out throughout the week. Do my betting breakdowns, all that behind the scenes as well. So you can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. And if you have any questions, you know, reach me. And good luck on Saturday. Let's win some money.